explain more as to the connection between metabolic health and mental health, and like why you think that if you fix your metabolic health, that may actually help on some of this other stuff.
Yeah, and this is something that has been most fascinating to me as well, because, as a heart surgeon, I didn't think a lot about mental health. And then as you get into this metabolic health thing, and for instance, Dr. Christopher Palmer, he's a psychiatrist who has now published extensively on this, has a upcoming book, and is probably one of the leaders in this area. And he has shown clear relationships between our metabolic health and our mental health, and that a lot of our mental health issues probably stems from inflammation in the brain. And, just like we get the inflammation in our gut from eating these processed foods, these unhealthy foods, we get inflammation in our brain. And he has extensive experience with pretty advanced mental health disorders, things like schizophrenia, that he routinely now, and he's been doing this for 20 years, he routinely sees improvements in these serious mental health conditions just by changing the food that people are eating.
Wow.
Yeah, mind-blowing stuff.
And not even necessarily exercise. I'm sure exercise gets laid in as well, but just food alone could improve the metabolic health, which then could have an impact on the mental health.
Yep, just changing the food that we eat.
Wow.
And there are many different reasons that can be that may be true, at the physiologic level, inflammation in the brain, the fuel that your brain is running on, the fuel that your body is running on. One of the other major sort of shifts that we see on a metabolic level when we stop eating processed food, when we eat less carbohydrates, is our bodies start relying more on fat for energy. Ketogenesis, the ketogenic diet that we've all heard so much about. What that means at a physiologic level is that the primary fuel source that our body is using shifts from sugars to fats, essentially. And this has a lot of unique effects. And it turns out that two of the organs that it probably has the most effect on are our brains and our heart. So when you shift your body towards a ketogenic metabolism in the brain, and the brain starts using more ketones for energy than sugar for energy, a lot of good things happen. And again, this is probably our baseline. This is how we were meant to function. And getting back to that can fix a lot of these mental health problems that we see.